Hi, it's Nick Sharma here, from Head of Global Insights at Upstream Solutions. I'm here at the Perth Forum, and I thought I'd come and share some key takeaways with you. Look, first and foremost, we had a great panel this morning, and we had colleagues from the upstream to downstream, gas and LNG and agri. And I think the first thing that we really discussed today was, well, how is the commodity markets moving and how are companies shifting their strategies? And one of the things that pretty much came out quite clearly is there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. And whether you're in the upstream space, where companies are trying to navigate both upstream, traditional upstream, or low carbon, or whether you go to the downstream side, where we see changing OPEC supply and the implication of oil markets and pricing, and obviously the resurgence of a lot of LNG coming into the market. So one thing that came away was there's just going to be a lot more certainty, and a lot of companies are going to have to navigate through these decisions. I was obviously focused a lot on my upstream panels and my colleagues who were doing sessions. And for me, the focus really was, how do companies navigate the coming few years? The discussions I've had on the side of the conference is, how do companies grow again, right? I think over the last few years, we've seen a bit of a more pragmatism on the energy transition. It's more an energy addition rather than a transition. And therefore, it means upstream companies really have a license to grow again. And what shape and form does that take? Clearly, companies are looking to grow, but value will still be a primary element of the decision making. And when we looked at the regions that we're here today, both Asia Pacific and Australia, some key trends emerged. Australia at the moment is going through what I would say is a bit more of a downturn of investment, but we're seeing some bright sparks emerging. Companies are looking to accelerate their LNG developments right now, particularly backfilling some volume, so that's a positive sign for the sector. Also, with domestic supply requirements in the eastern states, we're seeing a resurgence of activities in the Gippsland and Otway basins as companies look to increase again exploration and development expenditure. So that's on the backdrop of a reinstatement of the Australian government that gas is going to be core to the policy. So I think that's a real positive indicator that Australia is kind of turning the corner back on that front. And then finally, my colleague Tony just presented on Asia Pacific upstream, a lot of really similar themes. I think the first and foremost is companies are back in the region, right? We saw Total enter the region last year. We've seen some smaller partnerships emerge from SK Earthon Idemitsu or INPEX SK Earthon. Bid round uptake has been very good in Indonesia and Malaysia, and both Brunei and Thailand have started their bid rounds. So a lot of good company movement. Also, the emergence of one of the first satellite JVs in the region with ENI and Petronas, both through a kind of an asset swap or partnership between Petronas getting assets of ENIs in Indonesia and vice versa back into Malaysia. So I think that's going to really be an important test case for JVs, because clearly both national oil companies and the larger majors have a lot of common synergies in terms of what they want to achieve in terms of portfolio growth. The other key point to really talk about here is commercialization. I think we've heard a lot from companies today. Speed and cost is very critical. And commercialization is, I think, on top of most companies' agenda. So while governments have made a really strong effort in terms of bid rounds in the region, the discoveries have also been quite healthy in the last few years. The key will be the taste in the pudding, right? We have to make sure that the discovered resources hit the market, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of more exploration and development expenditure. It's been a great day. We really enjoyed the panel so far. There's still a few more sessions to go, and I'm looking forward to the 2026 edition of the Perth Forum. Thank you.